Hey guys, Scott Fishman here with the new MLW heavyweight champion, right off of Battle Riot. He outlasted 39 others to claim the MLW championship. Hey, Killer Cross, how you doing today?
Very good. It's very sore.
Yeah, I bet. Take me through that match, how you kind of got through that, how you kind of approach a match like that, where endurance is key, and you're a bloody mess most of the match or almost the entire match. I mean, how is it going through that?
I had a feeling it could be that way, way ahead of schedule. I had a feeling there's a chance in those matches you could be in there for a very long time. I kind of always just prepare for the worst when it comes to sort of any match. I need to have backup plans in case everything fails. I need to have multiple routes to get to the destination. There's no way that you're ever just gonna, think that you're gonna get there on one road. Put it that way. In terms of preparing for it, I just know the realities of Battle Riot. It's never going to be an easy match. It's extremely active, and a lot of things can go right and a lot of things can go wrong. So, like at the end of December, I had restricted my calories probably down to about, I mean, at one point it was 3,000 calories a day, and then it was down to 2,800. A lot of water, a lot of electrolytes, not really much weightlifting, but a lot of hiking, a lot of climbing, and a lot of running. And I was hiking through the Simeon Mountains in Africa, actually. The altitude there is 13,000 feet. I'd taken a trip to Africa in the first 2 weeks of January. It was my very first time. And I was traveling through Ethiopia. We were in the Afar Desert. We were in Mekelle, Addis Ababa. And yeah, the mountains, obviously. I mean, you spend a lot of time at a high altitude, it can increase your red blood cell count. And that drastically changes how much oxygen your body can carry, how much it needs. And I just made sure my cardio was intact for whatever was going to happen.
And I was at the Don Gato Tequila press conference. You had mentioned that your mom was going to be in attendance for the first time to watch you wrestle, to win the championship. I mean, how far in advance did you know? Did she come knowing you were going to win the championship ahead of time, or take me through? That was like a surprise to her, right?
We knew nothing. I mean, this is the first time that she's seen me perform live since she finished her treatments. And for people who don't know, when you're going through cancer treatments, your immune system is compromised, so you can't really be around a lot of big groups of people and stuff like that. You kind of have to hunker down and protect yourself. So um, she really didn't know what was going to be happening, and she just knew the aspects of the match and what the performance was going to be about and all the stakes involved. But she knew nothing beyond that.
That's great. It makes it even greater. Um, there's a lot of questions about where your future was when it relates to after your WWE, and now you're winning the MLW championship. So that's usually, hey, they're getting behind this guy. This is a franchise player. This is someone who's going to represent my company. At what point did you make this commitment to MLW? Was it right before the first show, right after the first show? Did you kind of want to see how things go? How did you kind of look at this opportunity with MLW, from the start to now?
There were conversations brought to my attention about where they think they would like things to go, and if I would be interested to participate in some of these ideas and collaborations. And I thought the conversations went really well. I thought they were sensible. I thought they were fair, and I thought they were challenging. And I enjoy challenging performances. I'm not looking for an easy road. I'm not looking to roll into anywhere on my laurels from elsewhere and just reap the benefits of it. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with doing that at all. Dues are dues. But I wanted, I really miss challenging performances. Like, I want to be challenged out there because that resonates with the audience. If everything is a breeze, there's benefits to that. You'll probably physically feel better. Things being easy and clearing good money is a dream scenario for most people in life. But I'm just different. I like being challenged, and I feel like when you accomplish those challenges, the reward is that much sweeter. It's that much more real when there's actually skin in the game and there's something on the line. I think that's a component that makes a wrestling show really special for people to watch because they see it, they're smartened up. They know that there's some real shit going on here, despite whatever their preconceived notions are about pro wrestling. They can feel when somebody has to show up. You're not allowed to just, roll in on cruise control. There's going to be some shit involved here. And that night, that's what it felt like to me. That's what it was all about.
What you were in MLW before. What do you make of the locker room now?
Well, MLW before had a collection of incredibly experienced people, but now even more so. There's so many people in MLW that have more than 10 years experience. And if for people who don't know what that really means, like depending on where you're from and what companies you wrestled in, you may have an average of 30 matches a year, or you may have an average of, 200 matches a year. Now, or plus. Now you multiply that by 10 years, and everyone in the company, just about everybody in the company has had over 10 years experience. There's a ton of experience under the roof of this place. People who know who they are in the ring, people who understand different market audiences, people who understand what the business of the night should be beyond what's just on the paper being given to them for the benefit of the people in the audience. I mean, in my opinion, we're very lucky to have everybody we have. It's to the benefit of the company and everyone in the audience and watching online. This is a solid roster.
Is there anyone in particular that you stand out to, maybe even a new performer or someone that's getting this platform for the first time on this, maybe on the indies they're known, but then, in this kind of platform, they're given more of a featured spot, you'd say.
Not to be biased, but Scarlett, I'm surprised. I mean, look, she had a massive following before she joined WWE. Her numbers reflected that online on YouTube, especially working with AAA previously. She, I think to this day, still has the highest grossing viewership on any AAA video. She had millions, but millions, but millions. And for a company, what that means is, the views monetize. So she was making that company an extraordinary amount of money just based on her performances when they went up online. But even with that being said, in Latin American countries that were watching that, and through the United States, Canada, etc., when she went to WWE, there was a long period where people were just being introduced to her for the first time. They, had no access to Telemundo or, were familiar with Latin American countries that were, airing or promoting AAA. A lot of people didn't know she was a wrestler because
Yeah.
she wasn't being presented as a wrestler, only occasionally. And the ability, like the moments that she was given on TV were very, very small, so no one could actually see her go. Now in MLW, she's being given matches where people can actually see what she can do. And then her original fan base that's followed her everywhere for almost 15 years now, they're like, finally. So everybody wins, you know?
Yeah.
So I think MLW giving her the ability and the time to perform, not only is it good for her, she's having fun and she's being able to scratch that itch finally, but I feel like her fans are being rewarded. And I feel like people who hadn't seen her perform are getting something new and fresh and special. This is not just a rehash of something they've been watching for 5 years on, USA Network, Fox, or Netflix.
Yeah. And the fact that I think the timing is everything, and you're seeing more female talent coming into MLW, and you're building a solid division with names, which that was one of the things with MLW is, there wasn't much of a presence when it comes to women's wrestling. And now there seems to be this renewed focus, and Scarlett is now part of that.
Big time. They've got Scarlett, they've got Shotzi. I mean, the two right there
Oh,
have
yeah.
quite a bit of experience. I'm looking forward to seeing how it develops. We've got all the right people in the right places right now, which is incredible. That's a rare thing, man.
Yeah. And you talked about it. March 14th, MLW is having its Fusion TV taping at Center Stage in Atlanta. A lot of rumblings about, a weekly television. I mean, where do you see MLW going? What have you heard? Nowadays we're seeing different, I would say plans or layouts when it comes to is a promotion going to run once a week, twice a week, three times a week, or once a month, or where do you kind of see it within MLW? What do you want to see now as the top guy?
MLW has the type of roster and the type of internal team, in my opinion, to be able to produce something episodically week to week. I absolutely believe that. I know that there is such a thing as wrestling fatigue, where if there's too many options, people are only going to watch this, that, and the other thing. But, in respect to that, MLW is a very strong alternative to what a lot of people are able to see on their television. So if they've been watching something and they feel like it's the same thing over and over and over again, MLW really is going to give you something different. And they're aiming to give you something different. They're not looking to do a copy, cut, and paste of things that they've previously done. They're looking to refresh things and make things exciting and perhaps do the things that other places are not able to do. I think in terms of television distribution and stuff like that, respectfully, I'm not in those conversations. It's at one point, if we do cross that bridge, I would love to be in those meetings and be able to talk to people. I feel like the time that I've had independently right now and the elbows I've been able to, rub up against in the last few months being a free agent independent, I learned a lot about all that internal mechanics of all that type of stuff. And I think I could be of value in those conversations. And I think that we have everything we need in order to have, a television distribution deal. The only thing I would imagine, hypothetically speaking, is you would need probably something, in regards to budget, producers and stuff like that. Again, I'm not in those conversations, but that's how it always starts, right? Like, for instance, with AEW, AEW was never going to be on TV until they had financial backing, big financial backing, to have an idea of like projected revenue of what's coming in versus what's going out. That's always the key for any company, whether it's MLW or any company. You need to be able to project where you're going to land, and you need to be able to understand where the return is going to be coming from. So it's easy to spend money.
Yeah, of course.
It's a different story when you're talking about, or returning revenue.
Yeah, that's where it gets a little tricky.
Yes.
Also one thing that I love about you is you're so creative and you talk about storytelling and character and you really kind of dig into that. We see it you telling your story through a documentary or even a short film like Blue Evening. I mean, so what are we going to see what can you tell us about what we're going to see on MLW when it comes to what you and your performance? I feel like you've only scratched the surface on what you're going to do there now that you're going to be even more featured as a champion.
Mayhem. You're going to see mayhem. You're gonna be able to see me in a format where I can give as much as I want to give, and I want to give everything. I don't want um, I don't want to be prevented from having the strongest connection I possibly can with the audience, and that's never going to happen in MLW or anywhere I go from now on. I think um, I think that's where we're at, and being able to foster the relationship that the audience is clamoring for is probably going to be the most important thing to me. And I think this is a result of that. I absolutely believe that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people excited at the opportunity of a match between you and Mads Kruger, who technically lost the championship in the Battle Riot. There's a lot of horror movie-esque elements, so I feel like there's a lot to play with when it comes to you two, right? When it comes to that.
Absolutely. I think Mads is very fully capable of bringing out the devil in me. Although I'm trying very hard to be the good guy.
But then you never know waking up the beast.
Yeah.
What do you make of one cool things about MLW is we saw the likes of a Paul Walterhauser coming in, being a part of that Battle Riot match. Danny McBride, with his tequila company and Don Gatto. I mean, what do you kind of make of having those from the outside coming in and lending their name and value to help build this company up?
It's incredible. That's awesome. Obviously, Danny loves pro wrestling. He loves lucha libre. He loves all that stuff. And just being able to see him and how he actually really thoroughly and authentically enjoys the show and he's supportive of it, it means a lot to all of us backstage as performers. Because he's a performer too, even though he's a producer and a writer and he does everything that he does in his side of the entertainment lane, the fact that he can still appreciate it in the way that he does and run with us, it's a very cool thing.
Is there anything that you're working on outside of the ring? Because I know you've done some of that work as well that you can tell us.
I'm working on a second book, and I just scored a role in a noir film as a detective, which is set to shoot in the next couple months, which I'm really excited for. That's all I can say. But there's a couple of things in the fire right now that I'm very excited for. So I was speaking to someone who was interested in acquiring me for voiceover work for a video game, but that's nothing concrete. But voiceover work, I think, would be really, really fun to get into. I've always loved character work. Um, Guillermo del Toro, I've always liked his films, and I've always liked the people that are in those types of films because he embraces a lot of character work. There's people in giant prosthetics that are no longer people; they're playing creatures, and they alter and change everything they're doing. I feel like it's easier to get there in voiceover work depending on the character that you're being given to portray. So all of that stuff Cops, robbers, military, gangsters, you name it, I'm interested.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of scripts sent to me that are like drama pieces. And I like doing that because I think I'd be a shoe in for action, but I'm doing action already. I've been doing action for a very long time. If someone gives me, a different canvas and a different paintbrush to create something totally, alternative for people, but there's an emotional hook and the ability to elicit that emotional response through drama, I think that's really cool to me. I like being able to have so many different lanes to create stuff for people. So
And I think the fact that other wrestlers like John Cena or Dave Batista have kind of helped open that door more. Even CM Punk, they're getting more substantial roles where before it was just you being pigeonholed in something. So they're kind of looking at you as individuals rather than the, hey, this is a pro wrestler that we always think of when we think pro wrestler. I think that's changed also, which has helped, I'm sure.
oh, definitely. There's pros and cons depending on where you are positioned in a wrestling business. If you're a high level mainstream person, the odds of you being typecasted are incredibly high. If you are not, a John Cena of the industry and you actually, you have acting chops and you can do it the old school way and show up to casting calls and auditions and stuff like that, people have a less rigid idea of what you're like because they might not be overly familiar with your performances as a wrestler. They may just look at you non-biasedly as this is a person who's coming in to play this role versus, you know, Doomsday, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Lastly, just why don't you just let people know what are like the next couple weeks, what does that look like for you as far as like conventions, bookings? Of course we have MLW shows coming up in the next couple months as well.
I have a massive show in March that's going to be for ACW. I'm going back to the old Civic Center in New York. It's the very first show I've ever watched wrestling live, and I have not been back since the very first show I watched when I was like 6 or 7 years old.
Oh, very
So I'm going to
cool.
be performing in there. I'm going to be competing against Mike Santana and Richard Holiday for the
Very New
ACW
York.
Heavyweight Championship. I'm going to be wrestling for the first, yes, yep, Poughkeepsie. And I'm going to be wrestling in Romania for the very first time. So is Scarlett. That's going to be coming up as well. We have Houston Comic Con that's going to be coming up, Animeverse. I'm very much looking forward to. I have another show that's going to be announced coming up in Chicago. I can't tell you what, but it's going to be coming out shortly. They got to roll out the promotional media footage. I'll be in Manchester, UK for a convention coming up as well, right before Romania. There's a lot of stuff. And there is a chance, I'm going to tell you, there is a chance you may see me wrestling in Vienna. And that's all I can say. I can't say where and I can't say who, but there's a lot of international stuff coming up. And um, please, by all means, follow my socials. It's at Real Killer Kross on IG or X. I keep it very simple. It's the same handle on both spots. So I'm going to be posting about it. And if you're in those areas and you want to see somebody get suplexed on their head, I'm your guy.
And it'll be a big homecoming for you with MLW going back to New York City for the first time in a year. On June the 11th, the Melrose Ballroom, where tickets are now on sale, actually going on sale February 13th. So whenever they're watching, listening to this, February 13th. So yeah, thank you so much. Seems like you're a very busy guy, so I really appreciate you taking time with us and talking to us today. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, man. I've got 4 days at home. I cannot wait to put my feet up. And by the time I put my feet up, I'll probably have to go back to the gym. So such is life.